A great day. My name is Che Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the number one business development and revenue focused late night show in the country where we are on a mission. And our mission really is to empower, our mission is to inspire, and our mission really is to provide you, the hard working entrepreneur, with all of the resources that are necessary to execute that big vision you have for the people you were called to serve. On this episode, we have the one and only Dr. Vicki. She's in the building. Can't wait to talk about, you don't have a business problem, you have a leadership problem. What's going on, Dr. Vicki? How are you doing today?
I am blessed because I am sitting here talking to you.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And before we get into the topic, before we get into your background and how famous you are all over the world, and I know we have some folks connected. Shout out to Dr. Pam Parrish. You got a shout out in the back. So I had to say that. She's such a great person, by the way. I'm curious. We were talking about you don't have a business problem, you have a leadership problem. Take a moment, if you would, and talk about what is your definition of leadership. It means different things to different people in different places. So when you talk about you don't have a business problem, you have a leadership problem, define what leadership means from your perspective.
Well, first of all, thanks for asking the question, because I truly believe that leadership has multiple definitions depending upon who you're speaking with. But when I think about leadership, let's break the word down, leader. People are defined as leaders when others want to follow. So if people want to follow you, they believe in what you're doing, that is a form of leadership. The other thing is that when we talk about what does it mean means, are you able to serve? Are you able to take direction, give direction? Are you able to have empathy? Are you able to provide an environment ultimately where everybody wants to follow you? That is servant leadership.
Said well. You threw servant leadership in there. Take a moment while you threw in the word servant leadership. For those folks that are tuning in and listening right now, why'd you throw in servant leadership? Talk about that for a moment.
So let's talk about that, because leadership at its core, when we think about the core of leadership and the word, people can lead, people can do things, others can follow. But a servant leadership says, you know what? It's not about me. It's not about I. It's about us. It's about we. So a servant leadership says, I'm willing not only to guide you and to lead you, but guess what? I'm willing to serve you. I'm willing to take words from you. I want to learn. I don't know it all. It's not about I. So a servant says, I'm willing and enabled to be able to take direction, guidance, information, and expertise from others.
I like that, by the way. And before we get into your background, because you worked for major corporations, you help leaders all over the world, take a moment, if you would, before we get into your background, talk about how does a person know if they're stuck? I mean, if their business is stuck. I mean, if they're the reason their business is stuck. And so the question is, how would a person know what's one or two or three signs the leader says, hey, the business stuck because of me? I mean, and how do they know? Because, running a business myself, I'm always thinking, it's that person and that person. But how do they know when it's them?
Well, the deal is that, first of all, you have to always be willing to do self-reflection. But when you're looking at a business and you're looking at where things are going, everything has a root cause. A lot of times we stop at what we can see. We don't go and look in depth as to the why. What is the root cause of this? What went wrong? Okay, this occurred, but why did it occur? Could there have been a different decision? Could the culture have been different? Could we have led different? Could we have communicated differently? What is that decision? All of those components are components of true leadership. So when you begin to think about your business and you're thinking about, wow, what is the gap here? What is it that we didn't do that could have been done better? And that's where we get to talk about behaviors. So when you're looking at any business problem, that's the outcome. That's the surface level. That's what we can see. But what's really going on that we can't see because we're not digging deep enough? Did we not make the right choices because we didn't get the right information? Were we too quick to make a decision? Did we not listen? As a leader, did I not listen? Did people try to tell me and I didn't listen? And it made the business go down. They were giving me warning signs that was going to happen ahead of time. But I didn't listen. I may have heard them, but I chose not to listen. So root cause of why and the behaviors and the culture and the actions tell us, was it me? Was it the leadership? Did I communicate effectively? Did I really tell people what the expectation was? Did I explain it? You know, we talk about communication all the time. And communication, you think people may understand what you said. You think they may have understood where you were going. But as the communicator, it's your job to make sure they truly did. And that's why affirming and confirmation becomes so important when you're doing that. So I think it's a combination of all the above, but it's looking inward.
I love it. Well said. And for those folks that are meeting you for the very first time, no matter, though you work for top companies, which I know you hopefully you'll talk about in a moment, and they want to know, Shay, what's her backstory? What's her background? What was the defining moment that led her to being so passionate about helping leaders really grow a business? So you know the question, who are you? Tell them the backstory. We're all curious right now. We like what we're hearing, but we want to know more about you. Talk about you, if you would, please.
Sure, absolutely. So, we always talk about the work we do or what we've accomplished. And when I begin to think about who is Vicki, I think about the experience of the journey. So I come from a technology background. I'm a technologist by trade, and I'm a little seasoned. So being seasoned, I was one of those that moved my way up through the ranks, where I looked around the table and I saw no one who looked like me. And it wasn't until later in my career that I could find another woman around the table. So having to go through these experiences, I lived it. I felt it. I went through it. I saw cultural changes. I saw good leaders. I saw not so good leaders. I saw times in our country where things were accepted. I saw times in our country where they weren't. So having gone through these experiences allowed me to say to myself, I want to be that servant leader, not just a leader. I want to give to others, to help others. And so I always came from a background that the further I moved up, it was my job to pull a rope back and pull as many people forward as I could. So I've had a background of moving my way up through corporate America, being around boardroom tables, working with investors, being in the C-suites, seeing how organizations are made, seeing how decisions are truly done. All of those things shaped not only who I am as a leader and my functional capabilities around technology and strategy and alignment. But anybody can go to school to learn a book about how to do that. But how do you go to school to truly learn to be a good leader and to understand the right behaviors and the right thought process and the right things to do to be a true leader?
Well said. And you work for some of the top companies that you mentioned, and you've been able to be in a number of different meetings, Dr. Vicki. So I'm curious, what was maybe one time or one moment or experience you had where leadership in your mind made a decision between success and failure? Is there any one incident that comes top of mind to you?
Yes, absolutely. So, change is hard for all of us. We have to accept change. We got to accept things that are happening. I will never forget, and we can even go back in time because this is where I think it actually was a big turning point for me. You remember the year 2000? And everybody
Yeah.
thought the world was coming to an end.
For
Everybody
sure.
thought, oh my God, it's going to be over. We're not going to make it. Nobody's ready for the year 2000. And I happened to be working for an organization where the leader of that organization was not as straightforward as they should have been. They were not as forthright about why we were doing the things we were doing within business. Now, those of us that were in leadership at the moment, we knew, but you couldn't say that. You had to go through the corporate line. And that was a turning moment for me. The difference between a corporate line, your role, and then watching someone that you're supposed to be trusting to move forward with. And that moment when those decisions were made and the best decisions weren't made, we suffered the consequence of that. I'll never forget the nights of spending the night at the office, working around the clock in the office because of bad decisions that were being made. That was a turning point for me. And I said, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be like this. So let me take this as a learning lesson and put it into my toolbox.
Great lesson. Thanks for sharing, by the way. And, I'm curious, a number of our listeners are dualpreneurs. They work a full-time job and they're a full-time entrepreneur. And might be curious, and it's a two-part questions, and ladies and gentlemen, she can handle it. First part is leadership. Does that look differently for the entrepreneur who may not have, 10 W-2 employees, but they may be working with 15 or 20, let's call them 1099s, and they've got to lead them, but they don't, really come to work and work for them every single day. And the question is, how does leadership look different, or is it different for the entrepreneur who has to deal with not only managing that part, but also other pieces of the whole business model, and they got to lead themselves? So two-part question. How does it apply to the little guy? Lessons you've learned, how does it help them?
So let's talk about the little guy for a minute. Because one of the things about being an entrepreneur, and those of us who are all in entrepreneurship understand, is a lot of the concepts, regardless to whether you work for somebody or you work for yourself, are the same. I never look at a 1099 as a 1099. When you're part of the team, you're part of the team. When we have to lead as a team, we have to lead as a team. Because guess what? Those 1099, those people that are working for you as a 1099, they're part of your brand. They're part of who you are. So if I'm going to treat them differently or act differently, I'm saying, guess what? You just here on a temporary basis, and you're going to go and do the job, check the box, get the job done, and I don't care about my brand, my equity, or who I am. Doesn't work that way. When you're in a business and you're working for somebody, you're carrying somebody's brand. And I really want to talk about that for a minute because I think it's really important for people to understand. When you go somewhere and you say, I work for company X, whether we like it or not, we carry that brand with us. That brand is a part of who we are when we say, I work for. So regardless to whether you're working for a big company or somebody is working for you, it's the same thing. It's part of that brand. It's part of that image. It's part of who you are. It's part of what you stand for. So from my perspective, that part of leadership does not change. Now, the same things that you do for a organization are the same things you're going to invest as an entrepreneur. You should have a strategic plan. You should have your financials. You should have your standard operating procedures. You should have all of those things should be lined up for yourself as an individual, just as it is for a company. Now, the way in which you approach your customers or your potential clients, you may have a little bit more freedom when you're doing it for yourself than if you're doing it for someone else. Now, why? Why is that the case? Because I create my own culture, my own brand as the leader of my organization. I serve who I want to serve. I work with whom I want to work with. I am partnering with the people I want to partner with. When I'm not in that decision mode and I'm working at a company, I don't necessarily have all of that luxury or that opportunity. So for those that are working both, it's kind of like I remember a time where I was working for a company and I was doing something a little to the side. It feels kind of comfortable changing that hat to say, okay, I got the brand on. I got to do what the company says. This is their goal. This is their rules. These are their regulations. Now I put that hat on. Okay, I'm going to do what I want to do over here and I'm going to make it happen the way I want to make it happen because it's mine. It's representing what I want to do, my culture, my environment, who I am, my authentic self, as I'm doing it. So it does feel comfortable to be more in that driver's seat, but at the same time, the same methodologies, the same process that you have to create and develop on a business side, you're doing the same thing when you're working for yourself. You're just doing it differently.
I love that, by the way. And, what is one thing? Because you said a lot, and this is good stuff. And someone's sitting there saying, Shay, I need to improve. And you have her on the side, Shay. So if you had to ask her, for me, what's one simple thing that she would say that a business owner can do today to become a better leader? What would it be, Shay, and why? So, I guess I just asked the question in so many words, but that's where I was going. What's one thing a step they could take today to become a better leader tomorrow? So you don't have to wait, ladies and gentlemen. So y'all might all want to lean in.
Well, the first thing is that I think to be a better leader today than you are tomorrow, especially when you do introspection and you are thinking about self, that number one thing is first look at yourself. Be honest. Not a facade. Be honest. The very first thing you can do is say, what do I do well and what don't I do well? For the things that you don't do well, surround yourself with partners, with others that can work with you, for you in different capacities to make your pie whole. Because none of us are 100%. Let's first recognize that. We all have room to grow. And we should all be constant learners. So put yourself around the environment where those strengths are. But it starts with you. What's my mindset? Do I have the right mindset? Am I thinking about this correctly? Do I have an open mind or am I a closed mind? And am I going to be honest and authentic with me? What does that look like? That is the first place we must start. Because I can't correct anything if I'm not honest with me.
Yeah, look at the person in the mirror. Well said. It's a good segue, I believe, to a segment we have here called Today is My January 1st. Now, for those folks who tune in every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you already know what you're about to do. In fact, you might even wait to say those magical words. Today is my January 1st. Happy New Year to all of you watching, by the way. And for all the new folks who are tuning in and joining for the very first time, we welcome you. Thanks for welcoming us into your home or watching us online or on your TV, hey, or in your ears on the podcast. We appreciate you. Today is my January 1st is our personal mantra. It represents a fresh start. It really represents a do-over. It means our past, no matter how dark and gloomy that past is or how bright and sunny the past is, the past really no longer equals the future. And so my question for Dr. Vicki on the other side is really twofold. Number one, just when you hear the words, today is my January 1st, what kind of goes through your mind? And number two, was there ever a time there was a setback? Things didn't go the way you wanted them to go. And how were you able to balance? Or maybe life's been perfect. I don't know. So far, it's been perfect, everything we heard. But, was there every challenge that you had to bounce back from?
Well, let me tell you, first of all, when I hear that today is January 1st, I'm going, okay, we got energy. We're ready to go. We get to start over. Let's start with a fresh sheet of paper. I can create. I can make it what I want to make it. I'm a builder anyway. I like to strategize. Let's go. Let's get started, right? It gives me a renewed energy of being able to get started. Well, a lot of times we have to look at a lot of periods throughout the year as January 1st because we may have to pivot. I'm going to share an experience with your audience of something that happened to me that I truly had to sit back and say, okay, I need to start with a January 1st and start over. I need to pivot. I need to look at this differently. And that was, I was perfectly doing well Business was going well, contracts, things were happening, etc. And you're always told as an entrepreneur, always build your pipeline, always continue to look for the next person. I was looking for the next thing. I was building a pipeline. But guess what? Not as much as I should have, as quickly as I should have, for the time that I know it takes a sales cycle to happen. Now, as I was working on it, thinking everything was fine, I got complacent. I had some contracts in place. I was working contracts. Things were fine. So that complacency of, okay, I can relax a little bit. I can take the back seat a little bit. I don't have to go as fast. I don't have to push as hard. So I didn't put the energy like I normally had because I let this complacency sit in. Guess what? A phone call happened. And the phone call said, I know we got a contract. I know we're working hard and we got some deliverables and things we have to get done. But next week, I need you to stop working. Excuse me? We got to make up some budget money, and we can't pay you. Next week, you can't pay me? I didn't budget for that. I didn't forecast for that because I was being complacent that it was going to be okay because I had a couple of things that I was working on, and they were going well. I knew they had been renewed. I was going to be fine. That wasn't the case. So I then had to pivot. Okay, I can't control that. I can't make them find the money. It's not going to happen. So Vicki, what are you going to do? So I pivoted my attention to solving a problem that had been brought to my attention through the work that I do. So as I work with these companies and I work with leaders all the time, I find out some of the root causes that we talk about around leadership. And one of the root causes that was coming up over and over again, and I guess that had to do a lot with the generations and the age of the people that I happen to be interfacing with from a leadership perspective, which happened to be part of that sandwich generation. And for those that don't know, that sandwich generation are those people who are finding themselves working and caregiving or working and taking care of others and loved ones at the same time and trying to split their time. And I recognize that through talking to a lot of them as we're planning for team development, rollouts, things like that, where they are leadership-wise and what was going on and what was going well and what wasn't going well, they found themselves splitting their time in this sandwich generation between work requirements and family requirements and what the expectations were. And I thought about it. And I said to myself, what can I do during this period to solve a problem if I'm going to pivot? Working in technology and working with AI a lot, what did I do? I created a caregiving app. I created an AI application to reduce some of the strain, the chaos, and the pressure. Now, I didn't just create it because I was solving that problem. Guess what? I had 26 years of experience in that problem because I was caregiving for my brother-in-law for 26 years. And during that 26-year period, I ended up caregiving for 4 more family members. So I had 5 family members that I'm caregiving for, trying to work and still raising a family and married. So I could eat, sleep, and drink this because I had lived it. So I created something to help bring a solution to serve others. And during that time period, that's what I did. I launched the app. The app was launched on January 19th of this year. And I do everything I can to help leaders that I'm coaching and people in the community to overcome. But don't look as a pivot as a bad thing. It can be a growth spot. It can truly be a growth spot. And it can be preparing you for the next thing to come for growth.
Yeah, congratulations. I love it. The app. At the end, you got to tell us where to get this app. This is pretty cool. This is big time now. Where did I get the app? They don't want to wait. They're like, say, she mentioned the app. Is there a place I can go look for it? Do I find it? Do I download it? You can't just leave us hanging on the edge.
So the app is called KinKeeper.now. KinKeeper.now. It's up, it's live, it's running. Go check it out. There's demos out there, there's information out there. But the whole reason for putting this together was to solve a problem during a time of a pivot that I knew would serve and make a difference while I was working on that pipeline that I needed to work on and continuing to close that gap. So now I got residual income on one side and I'm working on the other side. What a beautiful path to have.
I love it. This is so cool, by the way. What do you do for fun? We're not out saving the world. We're not out developing apps. We're not out dealing with leaders. We're not out helping folks become a better version of themselves. What do you do for fun these days? What does that look like for you?
Well, I am a proud grandmother, and my babies call me Vivi, V-I-V-I. So I love spending time with my grandbabies. I have a 7-year-old grandson, a 5-year-old granddaughter, a 4-year-old grandson, and a 2-year-old grandson, and they keep me busy. So I love to be with my family, love to be with my grandbabies, etc. Now, the thing I love to do for me is twofold. Anybody who knows me knows you put some music on, I got to move. I got to jam. I love to dance. And anybody else who, in terms of doing that, not only do I want to do that and dance and be around, others and all of that, I am I go to the gym. So I work out, and I want to make sure I get my 5 days of workout in, so that I'm keeping my body healthy as we're getting more seasoned and getting a little bit more of that wisdom of age on us. I want to make sure that the age truly is just a number and not an impact. So I continue to do both. But my joy is my family and my grandbabies. That's what I live for.
I can see it in your face. You just lit up totally, by the way. How amazing, how cool. As we come down the home stretch, a two-part question. Number one, what type of clients is your firm looking to work with, if any? I'm not sure if you're taking on any clients. And number two, how can folks best connect with you? Like, okay, Shay, I know where to get the app. Is there a website? How do I stay in this conversation? What does she want me to do next? Talk to the folks, please.
Absolutely. So from a business perspective, we are always looking for additional clients. And one of the things that we specialize in terms of doing this from a technology perspective is we all know that AI is a major disruption. And that major disruption is impacting businesses every single day in many, many different ways. But one of the things is that when you get ready to embark upon an AI initiative, you need to be prepared, because we always want to make sure that the business gets the ROI outside of it. All their metrics are met and KPIs so that they can say that they were successful. One of the biggest stumbling blocks of doing that is to get adoption. And so we specialize in helping organizations through the cultural change, organizational change, and the change management that needs to occur in order to get adoption. And it doesn't start at the time of implementation. It starts day one. So it starts working with leaders and moving forward. So always looking for clients, always looking for opportunities to help businesses grow, develop, and meet those goals that they need to meet as they're embarking upon this AI challenge. How do we get there? How do we get started? What are some of the things we need to do in terms of moving forward? So always open. So no, plate's not full. Plate will never be full, because growth is something we always love to do. So you don't have to worry about that, Shay. That's always an opportunity in terms of making that happen.
And did you give them a website?
Who would like, huh?
Did you give them a website to go to and how
I'm
they
going
can
to
follow
give them
you?
that.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, anybody who wants to reach me, you can reach me at Vicki, V-I-C-K-I, Wright, W-R-G-H-T, Hamilton, Hamilton, .com. And I'm on every social media out there as Vicki W. Hamilton. So I'm on Facebook, Instagram, I'm on TikTok, I'm on all of them. I'm on Threads, I'm on Twitter. So you can reach out to me anywhere. I would love to have a conversation with anyone who is interested in continuing to talk.
Well, certainly I encourage you all to connect with her. Thank you so much for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. It's an honor and a privilege. Can't wait to meet you one day in person, have eye-to-eye contact.
The feeling is mutual.
And thank you. Thank you to viewers. Thank you for tuning in, by the way, because you have a lot of choices and you choose to be with us. And without you, well, we don't have a show. So thanks so much for tuning in. I never get tired of reminding you every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, no matter what's going on in your life, by the way, whether you're doing really, really well and you're just going to that next level of success, or you've been hit with the punch that you never saw coming. The one thing I do believe is that today is your January 1st. And because of just that one reason alone, I believe your best is still yet to come. Your best is yet to come. Your best yet to come. With that being said, my name is Che Brown. Dr. Vicki, thanks a lot. We out of here. Peace, everybody. See you on the other side.
Thank you.